Yeah. Yeah, you don't curse a lot in your. You don't curse. You didn't curse in the interview at all.
Yeah, because I don't curse in life. So,
Is there like a reason behind that?
I mean, I could say religious, but also it's just really not in my vocabulary. Like I was saying earlier, remember how you were like, oh, you incorporate all these big words? Mm-hmm. Like my whole thing is there's so many words to express what you want to say.
Yeah.
And so why would I choose that one? You know?
So what? How did you get your language to that point? Because I know, like me, I can talk without cursing. Like that's not something I struggle with. Mm-hmm. You know, because shit, even my parents don't even know that I use curse words.
Right.
But like, what got you to that point? Was that just your environment that you was in, or like you said, you don't need to use those words? Like, what? And also, like you said, you use a lot of like
big words.
Big words. You know.
Yeah.
Is there like
expeditiously?
Is there like something that got you to that point?
Well, as far as the cursing, my household has always been a clean household. I also go to church often. And yeah, I just never really found myself struggling with cursing. Even when I'm like talking with other people do curse sometimes. And like, you know, I don't really feel a type of way about it. Like it's never just been something that I felt that I needed to do, not even to fit in or not even anything like that. Like I just be me, you know what I'm saying?
That's how I used to be. I didn't cuss at school at first.
And do you feel a way when people around you curse? Like do you like
oh, that's that word again.
Yeah, like do you feel a way with that?
I mean, it don't hurt me none. Like it doesn't hurt my spirit or anything. Unless they're cursing at me, then I'm gonna feel a type of way.
You never cuss at the back?
No, I don't. I don't.
Use big words.
But nah, it's just really not in my vocabulary. I can't even lie to you. Like, I just don't really see the need for it for me personally. Like a lot of people use it to like spice up sentences.
Sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use it to express myself when it gets to that point, you know.
Yeah.
Some people really be trying you, and you gotta show them something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Got you. But yeah, no. And then with the big words thing, I'm just a huge lover of words in general. Like I really enjoy finding different ways to say the same thing. And so like I like to find synonyms of words that are simple and try and expand my vocab. And there's I used to have this freestyle series called Expand Your Vocab where I would pick a word from the dictionary that I hadn't learned before and try and incorporate it into a freestyle. And I feel like that would also bridge the gap between like people learning new words in a fun and exciting way.
I feel like you should have like Millz Monday where you just go on there every Monday and like just drop a freestyle or something.
I do have a series called Millz Monday. Yeah. But what's funny is my Millz Monday series usually comes during the rollout of my projects. So what I'll do is like a few weeks before the rollout of my actual album or EP or whatever, I will do a thing called Millz Mondays where every Monday I will drop a freestyle from a beat that I enjoy that I feel might touch on something that happens in the project.
Where do you use? Like, is it on TikTok or where?
It's on YouTube, also on my Instagram and my Twitter. But yeah, on my YouTube you can see season 1 and season 2. I had 5 Millz Mondays for Growing Pains. And I have like 12 Millz Mondays for Worth the Wait.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you do it consistently. It'd be like you dropping something like they be like, oh, she can really rap. She doing this every Monday. That's crazy.
Yeah. I would like to be more consistent, but also at the same time, I don't want to focus too much on the freestyles because I want to devote a lot of my time to the actual like content, you know, like the actual project. Because I feel like if I'm putting all of my best work in the freestyle, by the time y'all listen
it's a freestyle.
I know, but
freestyle. What do you mean put the audio everything?
Because like I said, everything I drop have meaning and it means a lot to me.
I like to go there with the cat in the hat.
Nah, you ain't getting no cat in the hat rhyme scheme from me. Like it'd be intricate rhymes that I'm putting into these freestyles too. Even though it's just a freestyle, it's like yeah. Like, she could really rap, you know? And so then when you go to the music, I want y'all to hear, like, not only can she rap, like, on this type of beat, but she can rap with, like, depth and stuff, too, connecting to a storyline.
So you rap on any beat?
Yeah, anyone. I've done a trap feature before. I've also done like lo-fi features. I've done some jazz fusion type joints.
So when you freestyle, is there like a genre that you go based off of what's on your heart, or is it more so? Can you do like, oh, you rapping, and I'm giving you words as you go?
Not too good at that one because people be coming up with some onomatopoeia type joints, and I'm like, dang, that's a lot of syllables. But usually when I freestyle, and let me clarify what I mean by freestyle, because a lot of people assume freestyle just mean like totally off the dome, but like that's partially true, but also partially not true, because when I'm doing the Millz Mondays, a lot of it is coming from my head, but also at the same time I have to record it. So like it's coming from my head, but it's also like some memorized lines in there too.
Yeah.
So freestyle is more of showcasing my style freely versus it being like, oh, this is just an off the top versus a written, you know?
Is it hard to remember your own lyrics? Like when you
Not for me, because I write my lyrics. Some people can't remember their lyrics.
You know, when you get so many songs, and
That's
you
true.
gotta remember all the words for every song.
Yeah, but the thing is, I put a lot of preparation into my performances too. So like, if I understand my set list, and I also, like I said, I've written all of my lyrics, and I've sat down and recorded all of my lyrics. So like, it's almost like muscle memory to me. Like when one line comes up, I'm like, oh yeah, this is from this song, and I can do the verse for it, you know? But like I said, I also practice. So like when I'm going into these performance type venues and things like that, I fully like do my set in the mirror. I do my set in front of like some local people, or I guess, or whatever. But like I practice and I practice and I practice so that not only do I know the words, but I also know what I look like to the people watching me. So yeah.
So you don't see yourself ever forgetting it like Wayne?
No, I'm not like Wayne, bruh. I remember my lyrics, and I practice my lyrics, and I write my lyrics.
How do you feel about that? Them choosing Kendrick over Wayne for New Orleans?
I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense to me. Like, I understand New Orleans is Wayne's world, pretty much, but I'm saying Kendrick has the hottest song of the world right now. He's also not like us. And then, you don't like that. But also, he's coming off of the whole Drake Kendrick beef, so his name has already been like buzzing all year. And then it only makes sense to like have Kendrick because he's a good performer. Like we've seen him do performances at a big scale before, like at the Grammy stage, and also with the his Amazon concert thing show that he did not too long ago. So yeah, like it honestly makes sense. Like you rather Kendrick over Wayne for the Super Bowl?
She didn't say all of that, bro.
I didn't say that. I don't believe I said that. But I do think that performance-wise, I would prefer Kendrick
give a better show than
yeah,
Wayne.
I do. But I think that Wayne's impact and his influence in New Orleans and Louisiana as a whole would definitely be monumental. So if Kendrick were to do the Super Bowl and not bring out Wayne, it would be a red flag to me.
But how would they work? Would they have to make a song right now to be ready for the Super Bowl, or would they be?
I mean, not even.
Sing his own song.
Not even. I feel like, you know how they do like DJ mashups. I feel like if you could take Kendrick's verse and put it over a Wayne beat, and then next thing you know, out pops Wayne onto the stage to sing his verse for that song. I feel like they could easily incorporate it, especially with a song like Not Like Us, with that type of beat and sound. It's very easy to connect it to other songs.
You think he would do that, considering his relationship?
I was just gonna say, I don't think he's gonna do that. I don't know how Drake will feel about that.
Yeah, Drake is not gonna like that at all. But I do think, bringing out Wayne in New Orleans would be ideal. I do think that would be ideal.
Yeah, I don't know how the rap game is, because like me personally, I don't let my situation with one friend and another friend that don't like each other. I don't like. I know how to separate that.
Right.
I don't pillow talk too. I don't talk trash to this person and try. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do all of that. So I don't really see how that will work with them, because it's so like everybody knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So.
Alright, y'all, we're back with another episode of Locked In. It's your boy Leap DB.
Now, baby.
And today we have Emcee Millz.
You know.
So when we was creating this podcast, he was one of the first people I thought of to bring on here.
Appreciate it.
I mean, you always got a lot going on, traveling, music, art, church, just everything.
Facts.
So
I'm happy to be here though. Thank you for having me.
no problem. So we go a little from the beginning. So since leaving school, like high school, how was your journey? Like what happened since school?
Okay, so basically since high school, right after high school, I went into college. I got a degree in healthcare administration. Minor in
degree already?
Yeah. In fact, I got my degree in like 3 years. I was trying to be in and out.
Where'd you go?
UHCL. So a lot of people know UH Maine. You know, go Cougs, but I was like in the boonies with the white folks. But yeah, UHCL, got my degree in healthcare administration, minor in economics, but my actual passion is music, always been music. So during college, I had started my like independent music journey. Coming out of college,
Wait, before that, what was your major again?
My major was healthcare administration.
Why did you choose that over like everything else?
So honestly, I've always been business oriented, but I chose healthcare specifically because of job security. You know, people are always getting sick, so healthcare is a great field for that. And then
a nurse or a doctor. I mean, a nurse or a doctor.
yeah, but I didn't want to be like a nurse or like someone like in the field. I wanted more of a like administrative role, office management, those type of positions. I felt better suited my needs. And then also I chose that degree because I feel like it's a good segue into business, not only to have a business mindset, but also a hospital mindset. And nobody knows this, but like one of my long-term goals for a while was to build my own hospital because, you know, I'm Black and I'm a woman and I feel like we don't get as much representation in the healthcare field. So owning my own hospital was something that I really wanted. And I felt like that was a good segue into that.
And then you said you started your music journey. Like what drew you to that?
So I've always been in music, literally since the womb. I tell people because my mom was a piano teacher. My dad was a reggae artist. My uncle was also a reggae artist. So like,
does he have songs out?
He has songs out. He have them on like CDs and stuff. Yeah. But in fact, when I was small, my mom taught me piano at the age of 2. From there, you know, did choirs, chorals, things like that. Like I said, my dad was a reggae artist, so I was singing backgrounds for him. We ended up on the radio one time, which was crazy. Like I was like 7 years old, like, oh my gosh, that's my voice. Like it was really crazy stuff. But yeah, I've always been embedded in music, both on the instrumental side and like the vocalist side. And yeah, throughout my years, I've just been working on my singing, working on my poetry, working on my rap. And so it's just kind of transformed into a full MC. And so that's what I am now.
So like what genre would you say that you're in if someone was to ask you?
I'm in hip hop and rap, but it's more of a like, I guess you could say conscious rap. Like I do a lot of life rap. I rap about things that I've been through, situations I've been in, the environment that I grew up in, and kind of like my growth and my journey as a person. And then I also do poetry, so a lot of my poetry is based on like different time periods of my life, like a depressive episode or like maybe some of the happier times. But yeah, that's mostly what I do. Definitely hip hop and rap though, but I would say it has a lot of like orchestra type fusion, like jazz fusion, like a lot of instrumental heavy music. Like it's not gonna be like all trap drums, all 808s, because I'm definitely an instrumentalist first. So the like sounds of the beats matter a lot to me as well.
Do you mix like the reggae also in there?
Honestly, I haven't, which is funny though. I haven't, but it is something that I grew up on, so I do have a lot of appreciation for reggae music. Yeah. But I just haven't put it in my music just yet. Okay. But yeah.
So who are one of your main influences?
Like mainstream?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Whoever, you know.
I mean, like, are you talking like musical influences? Okay, yeah. Really like No Name. I love what she's able to do with her words and her metaphors. J. Cole is a big one. Also some like real lyricists I like to listen to are like Deontay Hitchcock. I like West Side Boogie. I like, let me think. I also have Saba up there pretty high. Smino for how he uses his sounds and his words. A lot of groups, a lot of female artists too, like Rhapsody, Lauryn Hill, Missy Elliott for her creativity and how she works. But yeah, a lot. I listen to so much music, honestly. Like, I have influences in the rap scene, but also in like gospel genres and like their harmonies and how they put songs together. A lot of classical music I listen to as well, just to kind of get a feel for syncopation and different like.
What's that?
Syncopation is like how you rhythm your words together. So like a beat might be 4 measures, but you can break it instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do da 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 or da 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 da. You know, so just classical music has a way of like flowing things together. And so I use that to kind of help me visualize how I want to flow my words together. So how many things can I fit in a 4-bar sequence? You know, like instead of it just being 1, 2, 3, 4 regular, like how can I play with that? How can I use rhythm to my advantage?
Who would you compare yourself to? Like if you had to, who was your style most like?
It's a mix. Like different parts of my style come from different people. So like I listen to JID when I want to do like some fast, like fun syncopation, or I might listen to Deontay Hitchcock if I want to do like some real like wordplay, play on words type thing, or like I said, No Name for her metaphors and the way that she plays with poetry. So like different people, I kind of take so many aspects of different people to make who I am, and then also just the experiences that have shaped me make me different than anybody you've heard, pretty much. But I would say if you had to most embody my music as somebody, it'd be a mix of Lauryn Hill, Rhapsody, and probably J. Cole. Like those 3 mix would probably be my big 3.
Right there.
Yeah.
So, what was I about to say? I just went blank. Oh, you're gonna say. So, Worth the Wait. That was your first EP, right?
Not my first, but it was the most recent. My first debut EP was Growing Pains. That one was, like I said, I did that one during my college.
And that's like your introductory to like EPs and like just making a song.
Yeah, I'd say that was my introduction to making like a project. Like before I was throwing out like a couple singles, a couple things to like play around with my voice and see how it sounds on record. But yeah, Growing Pains was my first EP that was like a project.
And what was that about, Growing Pains? Like walks like the process of like getting it out there.
Right. So it was an interesting process. My idea for Growing Pains was just kind of talking about how I was at college at the time and kind of trying to figure out what my journey is going to be kind of after this. And Growing Pains, as the title suggests, was talking about the painful journey of growth and how it's uncomfortable to grow and how, you know, it does take a lot of steps and a lot of processes to get to where you want to be. It starts off with the song called Dawn, and that was kind of like my like realization of like, hey, I'm not really where I want to be right now. And then it goes into Budding, which talks about how, you know, I've actually come so far, but because I'm so focused on the future, I don't see the buds as a good thing. I kind of see them as like, oh my gosh, I'm only buds right now. Like I want to be a flower. I want to be like in full bloom.
You gotta appreciate the journey.
Right, exactly. And so that was Budding, and then from Budding it goes into April Showers, which is a song about how rain is actually supposed to help flowers grow, but depending on your perception of rain, it could feel like you're drowning or suffocating in the water. And so then from there I talk about a song called Cocoon, where I talk about my comfort zone and staying kind of in the bounds and in the level that feels comfortable to me and not wanting to really break out of that. And lastly, you get Rebirth, which is once you do finally break out of that comfort zone, step out of what you're used to, then you're able to really blossom into the person that you can be and the person that you should be. And so that's kind of the process of Growing Pains and the meaning behind it. But also it incorporates my actual life journey throughout the songs. So it was a great process. It was a great recording kind of sequence.
I fuck with these names a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thought and meaning behind all of it.
Yeah, always.
How do you come up with the names? Like, is that just a process where you just sit down and like you write the song first and then you come up with the name, or you make the name first and then you proceed to write the song?
Well, usually I don't have a name for anything. I just have concepts in my head.
And what's your the add on to his question? Like, what's your writing process?
That is I'll get to that. That is an interesting question. But on the naming of things, usually my process is I have a concept first. So like with Growing Pains, I didn't even have the title for that. I just had, okay, I want to make an album about growth. And then each song, I was kind of like listening to the instrumental and I was like, okay, I can see this sequence going in this order. Once I had that, I was like, okay, how do I want to tell a growth story? Like, how do I want to be able to encapsulate people in the beginning and keep them throughout the end? And so from there, I kind of think about like, okay, well, where did my journey start? My journey started with a realization like, okay, this is not where I want to be. And then from there, what happens? Like, you kind of question yourself, you question your environment, you question things like that. And that kind of branches out into the storyline as a whole. And then once I have the song, that's usually when the name comes in. And I'm like, oh, I could call this Dawn because this is the beginning of my story. Mm-hmm. Or I could call this Budding because I'm focused on the buds instead of the flowers. And, you know, the idea of, okay, if this is about budding and flowers, then let me have a song about rain. Let me have a song about my comfort zone and being cocooned or even like suffocating in this box, you know? Mm-hmm. So those kind of...
I like where she going.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, those type of concepts and ideas allow me to narrow it down to a name, usually. Now, on the question on my writing style, it is sporadic. Like, I honestly...
Is it harder to write because, like, the big words you try to infuse into? Or, like, you just... Or it's not, it's like, you don't try to put the big words, it's part of your vocabulary.
Right. Honestly, it's just a part of my vocabulary. Like, I've always loved words in general. Like, I've always been a wordsmith. So, like, I try my best to enhance the people that are listening. Like, I don't want you to just hear something and be like, oh, okay, this is, anybody could write this, anybody could do this. Like, I want you to hear it and kind of be inspired to be like, oh, what does that word mean? Let me look it up. How does that incorporate into the song? Like, you know, I want people to be engaged and learn something new from what I'm saying. But my writing process is sporadic because it's all over the place. Like, sometimes I sit down and I write and I'm able to write something full on. Other times I'm just kind of like pacing around and then words come to me. Other times I'm like in the shower and I'm like, oh, this would be a great idea for a song. And then next thing I know, I'm writing it. So yeah.
That's how, like, when I write, you know, I write poetry too.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're looking for a ghostwriter.
Ooh.
We kind of collab with something. Like, my writing process, when I write, sometimes it's harder than others. Like, sometimes you don't gotta think, the words just come to you. But other times, like, oh my God, like, I'm stuck.
Yeah,
I get that. And when you get writer's block, like, what do you do when you get writer's block?
Yeah, I definitely feel that because, yeah, some things are harder than others. Sometimes it just comes naturally and it just flows. Like Growing Pains, I feel like most of that project was just coming to me. And I didn't really have to do much effort for it other than April Showers. April Showers took me a little while to write. And I do feel like it was because of the emotional content of that song. So that also has something to do with it. Like sometimes when I have writer's block, it's not just because of lack of inspiration. Sometimes it's because of the topic that I want to write about, like the intensity of it. But when I do experience writer's block, I just try and branch out into my other creative avenues. So I might like watch movies, or I might do some painting. I do art as well. I might paint, I might draw. Just anything to keep the creative juices flowing, but also nothing to make me feel like, oh, I have to write right now. I don't want to ever feel like pressured into writing because it feels less authentic that way to me.
Yeah, you like for it to come to you naturally instead of you forcing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, you said that was Growing Pains, so take us into Worth the Wait.
Yeah, Worth the Wait is the next EP. I dropped that one last year in June. It was a great project, honestly. I felt like after Growing Pains, I had started my process for the album. And in that album, I was experiencing some writer's block, so I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to force it. And as a like mixtape in between there, I did Don't Think, Just Create. And that one was just to kind of get my creative juices flowing.
So how do you, wait, not to cut you off, so when you write, you write songs, right? Mm-hmm. And so how do you pick, like, what song go with what project?
Oh, well, I always have the beats first. Before I do anything, I have my beats set up for specific projects. So with Worth the Wait, that one came after my mixtape. The mixtape was just kind of like beats that I heard from like mainstream artists, and I was like, oh, I could do a freestyle over this, I could do a freestyle.
So you just rapping over other artists, like their work?
Yeah, for the mixtape, yeah. Because that one was just kind of like a free project just to get my juices flowing. Yeah. But when I sat down for Worth the Wait, I had sat down with my friend Skip the Kid. He's a producer out of Pennsylvania. Super dope guy. I actually met him through Twitter. Yeah, incredible. And so I had heard his beats.
Shout out to Skip the Kid.
Yeah, shout out my boy. I had actually heard him on other people's songs, and I was like, oh, you know, his style is actually very unique, and I would love to like collab. So we actually had a couple songs, just like singles, or like also some songs that were on other people's projects. And we've had great chemistry on those songs. So I hit him up and I was like, hey, you know, I think we should do a project together. And so he was sending me beats, and I was kind of just trying to figure out where I want to take the project. Like, I was getting the beats and I was like, okay, this is a good beat, but I still didn't have like a concept, and I usually don't really make anything without a concept first. And so then as I was hearing the beats and stuff, I was like, I should call it Worth the Wait, because it's been a long time since my debut EP, The Growing Pains.
How long in between?
Growing Pains, I want to say, was 2021. And then Worth the Wait was 2023, so 2 years. Yeah.
Very long time.
Yeah, I mean, okay. All right, now.
You have to start, but then start.
Right, but I mean, y'all had the mixtape in between, but yeah, it was a while. So
I like you was consistent though.
Yeah, I was always consistently writing, just not always consistently releasing. And so, you know, sometimes people are expecting constant releases, and I personally can't do that. Like, I can't just keep releasing just to release. Like, I feel like if I'm gonna release, it has to have a meaning, it has to have a purpose, and there's a message that I want people to hear when I do release it. But yeah, I called it Worth the Wait because they had been waiting for a while, but I wanted them to know, like, it was worth it. Like, in the time I was still growing, in the time I was still working on my craft. Yeah, and so Worth the Wait, I want to say, is a much better lyrical project than Growing Pains, even though Growing Pains has my heart. A lot of good content in Growing Pains, especially in its message, but Worth the Wait lyrically was top tier. Like, it is an incredible piece. It's a 7-song EP. But yeah, heard the beats and I was like, okay, we're gonna do a project talking about like the waiting period and what it's like to kind of have patience through your journey. And so the first song kind of talks about the hiatus is over, and I talk about how, yeah, I know I had y'all waiting for a while, but you know, okay, I had y'all waiting, but it was worth it in the end. And like, these are the things that I learned throughout the journey, and then it goes through the next, like the rest of the track list that kind of talks about like each aspect of my journey. Still Waiting is like the interlude, which talks about like there's 3 types of people when you're waiting. You either like don't care to wait and you want it right now, and that kind of leads you to ruin, or you're willing to wait, but after a certain time you kind of lose faith in what you're waiting for. And then at the end it's like, stay consistent, stay faithful, and you'll get what you want in due time. And so
trust the process. Yeah,
just trust the process pretty much. And yeah, that project just talks about what it means to wait and what it means to be fulfilled while waiting. As you're working towards something else, what are you doing in the meantime? So yeah.
Okay, and what is like that process of you being like, okay, this project is stamped, is ready to be released? Like, how do you decide when it's
ready? Yeah,
ready to be.
Right. I mean, so usually after I have the beats, after I have the verses written and I record it, I send it off to be mixed and mastered. And then once it comes back to me,
I'm like, who to be mixed and mastered?
Well, it depends. For Worth the Wait, I had sent it to my boy Sistik. He's actually another artist that I met on Twitter as well.
Shout out to Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter is really the plug. Like,
that must be the place to go there.
Yeah, man.
Or X.
Oh yeah, X now. But yeah, back when it was Twitter, I met these people, and I had really just engulfed myself into this hip hop community that I found on there from people like all over. Like I said, Skip the Kid is from Pennsylvania. I met some people from New York.
Did you actually go up there to Pennsylvania and like talk to them face to face?
No.
All over the...
It was online when I was doing it with Skip. But yeah, I actually did meet Sistik though. He's from, I want to say Mississippi. If not Mississippi, it's Missouri. Please forgive me. But it's one of the M ones. It's definitely one of the M ones. But yeah, I did meet Sistik though. He was cool people. But yeah, I sent it off to him to be mixed and mastered for Worth the Wait. And then the Growing Pains, I tried to mix and master it myself, and I was like, oh, this is advanced. I was like, this is requiring a bit more that I am able to give.
Where do you record it?
I have an in-home studio.
That you built yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and funded myself too.
Like what's that process? How did you build an in-house studio?
Right, so I took the closet and then I put a mic in there. But no, I also have a dedicated laptop for my music, and then I bought an audio interface. And then I upgraded my, because before I had a mic that was like a plug into the computer type, and people were like, oh, that's cheap sound. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then I upgraded my mic to like one of the XLR type mics with like some cord thing. And then I had the audio interface, and the audio interface goes in the laptop.
You do all this research yourself, or like who's helping you with this?
It's different things. Like I asked other artists, like, what do y'all record on? I also asked like sound engineers and audio engineer people, like, what is the best process to get the best sound with a limited budget? Because I had to start saying that.
Like when you're naming all the things you're buying, people don't realize like how much it costs to actually invest in yourself.
Yeah, it is something. It is something.
Like you pouring all your funds into something not even making money like right now.
Yeah.
You gotta just trust the process. That's
yeah, heavy on the trust, the process, trust God for real.
You got like what's that? The cup holders and stuff on the wall and stuff?
Never had the cups on the wall. I was using my hoodies as like my sounding board. I also have a something that goes over the mic that like kind of keeps the sound in. Yeah. I also have the pop filter in front of the mic too. So I try my best to keep the sound as enclosed as possible. Also, my closet doesn't have any windows, so no, because so it's not like bouncing off of the things. You know what I'm saying? So
I call it out windows either.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying not like that. But I'm just saying, like more open space areas is easier for like the reverb and stuff they were saying. So it's better to have like a smaller enclosed room, basically.
So do you only record yourself in there, or do you allow other people to come in too?
So far, everybody that I've had as a feature have recorded it on like their side. Okay. So I haven't had anybody come in to record with me, but I mean, I'm open. I'm not upset if they want to.
So we have an Elite DP feature coming.
Oh, is that what's happening? He said so. Next question.
So how do you go like? So when you release music, how do you go with like? First, did you ever answer like how you know when you're ready? You never answered?
I think so. So I just kind of wait till it's mixed and mastered, and when it comes back to me, I kind of see how does it sound in full. But also as I'm writing each verse, I kind of think about how do I want it to transition into the next one, and how do I want it to sound as a whole. So like if I start like beginning to end, I rarely do, but if I do start beginning to end, I kind of know like, okay, this is going into this song is going into this one. And so I kind of even put like Easter eggs in some of the earlier songs for songs that come up later. Mm-hmm. If I don't go in order, because sometimes I don't, sometimes I just go where the spirit leads and it just be all over the place and eventually it just comes together. But if I do go out of order, I always try and make sure it's centralizing to the concept of the album as a whole or the project as a whole. So even if each song has its own specific message, I know that overall I want it to connect back to the message of the full project. So that's how I know when it's ready, because basically when I finish each song, they're all kind of connected to the same central idea.
Do you have like somebody like you send it to before you release real so they can listen to it and they let you know like their input on it?
That's interesting. Like I could do that, but I personally don't. I feel like
I like that.
Yeah, I like with my creative process, I find it to be very vulnerable to be sharing it with anybody even for like feedback and criticism, because like I'm putting my whole heart and soul into these words that I'm writing, you know.
And then if somebody say something negative, it's like
yeah, it's like
guess yourself.
Yeah, and I'm second guessing my own heart, my own soul. Like I feel like, and I also pray before everything that I write. So in my mind, I'm like, this is what I'm being led to say. You know, and I, even in songs that I've started writing and I might have scrapped that verse, or I started writing something and I didn't keep that part, I feel like all of that was necessary and productive to the song as a whole. So kind of like giving it to somebody else and being like, oh, what do you think about it? Do you think it needs improvement? Whatever. It almost feels like I'm not trusting my own intuition and what I was being led to write, you know?
And it's crazy you put so much thought and effort into your songs, but you know they have other songs. I don't want to like put nobody out there, but they just say stuff and they stuff go viral.
Yeah.
So stupid stuff.
I'm saying like
it makes me so bad sometimes because as a creator as well, I see the work that I put in, and then you see somebody else and be like, and I don't like comparing myself at all, but you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta be real with yourself and be like, yo, that's crazy. Like that's really going viral, but then my hard work is not being seen. So back to Malik's question, how do you deal with that process of like seeing those numbers go crazy for someone else, but then your work, is it like more so, oh, my time is coming, I'm not worried?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the attitude you almost have to have, or else you're always going to be upset, because you're right. Some of the craziest things, like stupidest stuff, go viral and it has no message, no meaning. It's just, you know, almost demeaning to the culture and the community. And I know everything that I make, I put a lot of intentionality into what I want to be heard, what I want to be received. And so, you know, when you don't see that, it does kind of hurt a bit, but also at the same time, it's like, you know, your time is coming, everything in due season, like it says in Ecclesiastes. So it's like, I know if I just trust the process, trust God, especially knowing that everything that I write, I pray first. I'm like, God's got me. Like, what am I even? Why even like stress it? You know. But it does. Like, you're right. It does hurt because you're human, and you're like, okay, I put my whole soul into this. Like, where is the return on investment? You know what I'm saying? And like you said, like that equipment ain't cheap. Like, how am I gonna make an album that cost me $500 and not even make $500 off the album? So it's like, man, that sucks.
You put in so much thought, putting big words, then you got like, you like sexy red and just,
yeah, shake your dress. But I do think it has a lot to do with basically what people want to hear. Like, some people are not trying to think. They just want to hear something that kind of, you know, appeals.
No substance at all.
Yeah, it just appeals to what they want to hear at the time. My music does require some thinking if you want to get to like the deeper meanings. If you just want to hear it at surface value, then like that's cool too. Like, it's good at surface value, but if you go deeper, it's even better. But I think that when it comes to having other people receive it and support it, I've learned that I can only cater to people who want to hear my type of music. Like, I'm not trying to get Sexy Red fans. I'm not trying to get Cardi B fans. I'm just trying to get people who enjoy listening to lyrics, who enjoy the construction of albums as wholes, people who enjoy listening to a body of work in full and kind of breaking it down and deconstructing what the lyrics mean and things like that. Those type of people.
Like, it's like a J. Cole or Kendrick song.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, you know, Kendrick songs, at first listen, you're like, oh wow, this song is hard. At seventh listen, you're like, man, this man talking about the like Mohican, you know, like ancient times. And
that's like with Wayne too. Like, sometimes you just listen to Wayne, you don't get what he was saying until like the third, fourth listen. Like, oh my God, that's what he was saying.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I say. I just put my music out, and the people who are supposed to hear it, and the people who are supposed to support it will. That's the way I kind of see it. But yeah, I don't really try going to make music to cater to a certain audience, because the way I see it, if I just keep making music that's true to me, my audience is going to be true to me. And so
that's something that, because I do YouTube as well, that's something that I'm big on. I always tell people, do not post for others, post for yourself, and those others will come to you.
Right.
But my question to you is, do you post on TikTok and Instagram? Well, I'm not sure what platforms you're on right now, but is that something that you're in right now, currently doing?
Yes. Am I consistent? No. But I am on Instagram, I am on TikTok, and I am on Twitter, all under the same name, Emcee Millz. You can go ahead and follow that, you know what I'm saying? EMCEE space MILLZ. I'm on all the platforms everywhere. Also on all like streaming platforms. I'm also on Bandcamp under that name. So yeah, anything that says Emcee Millz on it, that's me.
Okay.
And you have a new album you're working on right now. What is that one about?
Right.
Or can you tell us what it's about?
I mean, I
Or is it
can.
still low key?
I can. The album's actually almost done. I am one song away from finishing, so I'm really, really excited for that. The album is going to be called Duality, and it talks about the duality of man and how like the duality of good and evil and like yin versus yang, and do you let chaos win, do you let balance win, like do you need both sides to create a balance, and what that looks like. So the concept of that one is really about two sides of the same coin, realizing that like your evil intentions, your good intentions are always going to be kind of warring against each other, and it's up to you to decide which side you want on that coin flip, pretty much. So yeah, I'm really excited about that one. It's going to be my debut album. Like I said, all my other projects have been either EPs or mixtapes, but this one is like really special to me because it's going to be the first like full-length project. I'm going for 14 tracks.
I was just gonna ask that. Okay. 14.
Yeah, going for 14 tracks. 14 is actually my favorite number, so it's all honestly perfect
A lot of
in every
symbolism in
sense.
your work.
Yeah, in every sense is incredible. I'm really excited about that one.
That's what's up. So is there like a dream feature you would want one day?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. At the top of the list, Leak DV. Then I got right beneath him. I have No Name. I've been trying to get a No Name feature. I've been trying to get No Name to recognize me.
DM?
I mean, I haven't because I don't think her DMs are open like that. But No Name, hit me up, bro. Like,
or have you tried? Have you tried to actually look at it and see?
what I've done is I've done a lot of freestyles over her work. I've tagged her in a lot of my work. I'm like mentioning her in every podcast interview I do. So please hit me up, girl. I love her work so much, and I feel like our styles are very similar, but also the meaning and depth that she puts in her verses is really important to me. And so she's one of my dream features. Also Rhapsody. Really would love a Rhapsody feature, J. Cole feature, but he about to be out the game soon, so I need to hurry up on him. But yeah, just a lot of my favorite artists that are mainstream I have dream features for. Also have a lot of underground artists that I love. Would love to get a chorus or hook feature from my boy Case Andrea. He's a great singer out of Houston. Also would really love a rapping feature from my boy Patty Honcho. He's out of New Jersey. He's one of the ones that I met on Twitter.
You got people all over.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Patty Honcho is incredible. I feel like you would really rock with his work. He has a lot of sports references, a lot of like insane wordplay as well. Just like he's really incredible. Love a feature from him. But yeah, this upcoming album actually has a couple more features than I've had in my previous works. I think 4 features, if I'm correct. 4 features on this upcoming album of people that I haven't worked with before, so I'm really excited to get like their names out there as well. So it's gonna be interesting.
Are you bilingual, right? By this point?
I mean, in what ways?
Like, what you, are you bilingual now? Say something,
¿Sabes español o no?
Oh, sí. Like, un poquito.
¿De dónde es tu familia?
Mi familia es de St. Croix. But basically, my family is from St. Croix, Virgin Islands. My mom is fluent in Spanish. However, I am not bilingual. Teardrop. I wish I was. I'm like halfway bilingual because I understand it more than I can speak and fully come up with sentences. But I also love traveling to places that speak Spanish. So maybe if I just lived there for a little bit, I might be able to like fully incorporate.
We got to get a Spanish album going too.
Have you tiptoed with putting Spanish into your albums or no?
I don't know enough Spanish to do that. To be fair, if I were to put some Spanish in my album, it would be like one little quick liner and be like, I got a little Spanish, you know what I'm saying? But nah, I'm not like D-Smoke. Like he be doing that type of stuff, but I'm not like that. But yeah, my mom does speak fluent Spanish. She went to college in Puerto Rico, and so that's where she learned her Spanish from and just kind of kept it and ran with it. Me, I'm kind of like wishing I was bilingual, but almost.
Do you see yourself eventually fully being bilingual?
Duolingo.
Yeah, I could. I mean, I could if I really like sat down and like really tried it. And like I said, if I fully immersed myself in the Spanish culture, I feel like I would pick it up easier. But trying to like be bilingual in an English speaking household around like Houstonians is like, nah. Yeah.
Alright, so for the first topic I want to get into real quick. So I seen a clip of Dr. Umar saying like hip hop hasn't done anything for the black community like the last 50 years. How do you, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it depends on what you call do for the community. Like, a lot of rappers and a lot of artists do give back to their own personal communities, but at the same time, we're looking at the volume of, you know, hip-hop as a culture. What have they done for the community?
Because when I think about like all the, if you go back and listen to like hip-hop back then, there was like more messages in the songs.
That's true.
They were like actually writing for a reason, but now, you know, just whatever's catchy. Or just
TikTok trendy.
Yeah.
That's what blows up.
Yeah. And it also, like I said earlier, it has to do a lot with the listening audience. Like before, the listening audience was people who were going through hard times and they wanted to hear about those hard times through the music and kind of how to get out of it. Nowadays, people go through hard times and they're like, I don't want to hear anything about those hard times. I want to hear something to kind of escape from that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of music seems like escapism to me. That's why you get a lot of like drug culture, like talking about drinking and drinking your problems away, or doing pills and doing drugs, or dancing in a way that's provocative just for like male gaze or things like that. Like a lot of that has to do with the trauma-based things that you're going through on the inside, but people don't want to talk about the trauma-based things. They talk about the like external factors that happen as a result. And so when you ask about things like, oh, what has hip-hop done for the community? When you're looking at hip-hop today, you're kind of looking at it from the lens of like what's mainstream. So like, of course, mainstream right now is not doing much for the community, especially now with the artists that are on and buzzing and popping right now.
What they're talking about.
Exactly. But when you actually look like deeper into hip hop, like into people who actually are still putting in messages, they are doing a lot of work in their communities.
Like Meek Mill, J. Cole, who else? Meek Mill, J. Cole, Kendrick. That's what I think of. Like Emcee, I think was.
Yeah,
also.
Emcee definitely. And when you look at it, it's almost like, how can you say hip hop is not doing anything for the culture? If you're a part of hip hop, then that's your responsibility to do something for your culture. Like, if I feel like there's one thing to criticize the problem, it's another thing to actually be a solution. So like there are a lot of artists who still do activism work. There are a lot of artists who still like give back to the younger people in their communities, who have like workshops and things like that, where it comes to like building them up into an environment that they don't have to live that type of lifestyle and they don't have to go into those type of avenues. So yeah, I would say that hip hop can be both beneficial to the culture and detrimental to the culture.
You mentioned like, you know, the provocativeness of like the females and like what they wear and what they talk about. Do you see yourself having to do that to be successful, or?
Listen, ain't nobody seeing nothing. Ain't nobody, you see me in this white tee. That's how I show up to my shows.
Yeah, I was
like,
say, I didn't get the memo. I should have wore a white tee too.
Oh, word.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I show up to my shows. I show up how I want to be received, pretty much. And my whole thing is I want the music to speak for itself. I want my talent to speak for itself. I'm not about to be out here in nothing skimpy, nothing like that. Like, nah, that's not my vibe, yo. That's just not my vibe. Like, me personally, like, even my personal style, that's not really me. So, like, why would I show up to a show like that, you know? Like, I usually show up to my shows and...
I mean, some people try to, when they rap or they perform, they try to go into that persona.
Right. and my persona is
You.
me. Yeah, like all of my music, well, not all of my music is about me, but I'm saying like most of my music is about who I am and my core values as a person. And so it's only right that when I perform, I'm authentic to self and dressing how I would in my regular life. Like I usually wear a hoodie or some jeans or like some dope shoes, something like that, because that's just who I am and that's how I feel most comfortable. So yeah.
So you don't see like a female artist having to dress provocative to be successful?
No, not at all.
Not to be successful, no. Unless that's the type of music and thing that you want to cater to. See, the thing is like, me personally, that's not my vibe. That's not my style. Even in my music, it's not very like provocative or anything like that. So like,
So that would kind of like confuse
yeah,
each
it
other.
would be very confusing to see me up there.
Twerking, she talking about something else.
Yeah, I'm talking about depression and I'm over here.
Twerking.
Yeah, like why? but also it honestly depends on who you are as a person and what you're willing to stand for. Because in order to be successful, some people feel like they have to cater to what people want versus what they want. Like they might want to be like me and just kind of make music in a like conscious sense and stuff like that. But what people want to hear is, you know, butt shaking music. And so they're kind of like, okay, well, if I want to make my label happy, if I want to make the money that I'm aiming to make, you know, if I want to actually, you know, move forward, I might have to do that. And they're fine with compromising. Me, I'm not. I'm not really that person.
Staying true to yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to stay 10 toes on my core values at the end of the day.
I respect that 1,000%.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, so you say your performances, like talk to us about like your first time performing. How did you feel? Was it easy? Were you shy? Like how did that go?
Well, I've honestly been performing since I was very young because, like I said, my mom was my piano teacher, so I used to do piano recitals.
You can do piano for real?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been doing piano for, at this point, 22 years. So yeah, I'm very, very skilled in the piano.
Like
But
Alicia Keys. That's
yeah, you feel me? But yeah, so I had always grown up performing at like recitals and then also in like choir events and things like that. So performances as a whole was never really something that was new to me. And since I've grown up in it, it doesn't really make me nervous. Now, when I became a solo artist, it was different being up there like by yourself, but also at the same time, like I've been doing poetry, I've been doing rap music, so I feel like expressing that just on a public stage wasn't something that was
so you don't get shy.
out of the ordinary. Not necessarily. Like, at least not when I'm performing. Like, when I'm performing, I really get in my, like,
Mode.
in my mode, like, in my bag. Like, because I know what, I've also been to a lot of concerts. I've also been to a lot of shows. So I know kind of the experience that I want to have as a listener. And then being an artist, I want to also provide that experience to my listeners. So when you go to like an Emcee Millz show, you're going to get a lot of hype. You're going to get a lot of fun, a lot of crowd engagement. But you're also going to get like some sit down and some real lyrics. And I think that's the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Fuck with it.
No, you spitter.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Alright, so I got a few rapid questions real quick.
Okay.
Hit them up or who shot you?
Hit him up.
The Jordan Bulls or the Steph Katie Warriors?
Easy. You see what I'm wearing? Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Come on.
She already got it on.
Bulls all day. Bulls all day.
Drake or Kendrick?
Kendrick, by far.
Damn, that's
No,
By
I don't
far.
know how I feel about that one.
Honestly, I had before the whole Drake Kendrick beef, I had been telling people Drake is not really as good as y'all think he is. Like, if it take 50 writers to make one hit song for you, that's not okay.
50 riders.
So listen to this. A car ride 7 hours away. Who can you play without skipping? Kendrick or Drake?
J. Cole.
I don't know. Kendrick or Drake.
I honestly don't have that much Drake in my playlist. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Man, look.
I'm not gonna lie to
Drake
you.
If I was to
songs
put you onto the
everything.
Drakes that I have, the Drake songs that I have, then you probably gonna be a little bit more.
But listen, one thing about me, I respect writers. I respect people who write their own music. I respect people who are really about the message that they put out. If Drake gotta get a new genre of music every album he put out, that's not okay.
He's so versatile, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Y'all saying it's versatile, but he's just hopping on what's hot.
And it's hot though.
You see what I'm saying?
But it's
Though?
hot.
If you changing who you are every album just to be hot? Like, do you get what I'm saying?
I feel like not his newest work, but like his older work, he kept the same vibe.
I'll tell you what. I rock with Take Care Drake. And I feel like after Nothing Was the Same, nothing was the same. Like,
You don't like CLB?
nah. Sorry.
Views?
Nah.
For the other dog, nothing?
Nah.
That's crazy.
I rock to some Marvin's Room though, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Marvin's Room was crazy.
I rock with it. I rock
You can't
with
listen
it.
to that too many times. So Kevin Clark or Angel Reese?
Angel Reese.
Why is that just Angel Reese?
I'm sorry. I support my black women, you know what I'm saying?
So look, we was having a little discussion a couple days ago
Uh-huh.
as to like, do everyone know? Okay, so no. He said that majority of the people watch the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she bring more notoriety to it.
I mean,
How do you feel about that?
I feel like that is partially true, but that's also because she's a white girl playing at the level that she is. I feel like black people play at that level all the time, and since black people do what black people do, it's like, oh, okay, everybody do that, you know. But since she's a white girl playing at that level, it's like, oh my gosh,
Like,
let me go
like
see
how
that.
a white rapper would be to it.
Exactly. Yeah,
You
pretty
heard
much.
that? Partially true.
Yeah.
You can continue.
But yeah, but I still got my girl Angel though.
Favorite retros? I mean, like the Jordans.
Ooh. Okay, my personal favorite pair, probably a tie between the 1s and the 4s. But I love the 12s as well.
I'm big on fours.
Yeah, I really like the 4s. I really like the 4s.
Top 3 artists of all time.
Ooh.
Musically, of course.
Music in hip hop or all across all?
How you want to do it?
Ooh. Let me just
Dead
go.
or alive, it don't matter.
Let me go hip hop only because the amount of music I listen to, I'm gonna name 3 gospel artists, and y'all gonna be looking at me crazy. Top 3 artists of all time. Are we talking about artists in what sense? Like album
Top 3
sales?
artists of all time.
Like, oh my god.
Who are your top 3 artists of all time?
My personal top
We
three?
have to say favorite. We have to say favorite.
I mean, I feel like favorite would be easier.
Okay.
Because trying to argue who's the top.
I did say who is your top 3.
Yeah, but you know, when you say top 3 artists, like artists is so all encompassing. And so the things that I value as an artist might not be like album sales or like arenas that they're selling out or things like that. Like that don't really, like I'm more on does it touch my soul or not. And if
Who is your top 3?
so, okay, let me think. Honestly, my top 3 of all time.
You got a top 3 while she thinking now?
Me?
Yeah. Top 3 people you listen to?
Lil Baby, Drake, and this one is kind of like mix and match. 'Cause I can go like Young K.A. I don't know if you know who that is.
I'm not
Yeah,
familiar.
that's somebody like coming up more so.
Okay.
Sheesh. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
The Baby Drake and Young K.A.?
Yeah.
I got No Name up top for sure in my top 3. I also want to say J. Cole is very high up in my top 3.
Okay, go ahead.
And then the third spot is hard because I do listen to a lot of music. I'm gonna just say MC Millz, man.
Let's see, huh?
Yeah, top 3.
Okay.
Top 3.
But you mentioned J. Cole. How did you feel about him backing out of the whole beef?
At first, I was like, this man should have done, like, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna write a song and then delete it? Like,
Yeah.
that's so trash. But then after I saw everything that Kendrick was on, I said, ooh, wow.
He made a
That
smart
boy, high IQ play, bruh. High IQ play.
business decision.
Yeah.
You have a favorite quote or bar?
My favorite quote is a Michael Jordan quote. Never say never because limits like fears are often just an illusion. And it just really talks about how we limit ourselves by our thinking. And feeling like this is your cap, that will be your cap. And same with fear, like feeling like I can only go this far because you're scared to go farther or unsure of what further looks like will only get you this far. So I really like that quote by him. My favorite bar, That's hard because I have a lot of bars that I like myself, that I've written myself. But I also have a lot of bars that I like from other artists too.
Who do you think come with the hardest bars? I would say Wayne is one of them.
Wayne definitely up there.
Kendrick.
Kendrick
I think they keep missing the same people though.
But I mean, Kendrick do got some bars. But I mean, like, as far as like a hard hitting punchline, Ransom has some really good punchlines.
Meek.
I don't listen to that much Meek to know if he has that many. I'm more of a dreams and nightmares type girly.
Punchline, I think that's all. Punchline.
Deontay Hitchcock got a lot of funny bars too. That boy is hilarious. The way he plays with words is crazy.
Question: do you listen to like No Cap Rollo?
Yeah, Rollo got punchline.
Yeah, Rollo and No Cap got some punch, but they're more so in like what you said earlier, like the drug abusive type.
Yeah,
and that.
I know their names, but I haven't listened to their music.
Okay, yeah.
So, album, when should they be expecting that? Okay.
Coming soon, coming
So
soon.
no date on it yet, just still in the works.
The thing is, it did have a date, but that date is getting a little closer, and this song still isn't finished.
That's good.
So you know, I don't want to say a date and then disappoint y'all, but my goal is hopefully Q4, if not Q4, Q1 of next year. So yeah.
You said that's gonna be duality.
Yeah, Duality is the name of the album.
Oh, yeah, and I like what you said about it, how the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, because I believe that there's no good without bad, and that there's not bad without good. You know, that's something that I'm big on as well, because, you know, a lot of times people are so focused on reaching that goal and reaching that stage in life that they always wanted, but they don't appreciate the journey that creates that, because you wouldn't know of a good situation if you wasn't in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying, in the first place. So I really like that. Like I said, you have a lot of depth in your names and things of that sort. Because I'm not good with names at all, at all. So just hearing like the message behind it and the meaning and how you're saying everything, you know, kudos to you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
So yeah. That's it. Any more questions? That's all for me.
I mean, listen, man. I feel like this was a great episode.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, thank y'all for having me for sure. Definitely tap in with Emcee Millz out on all platforms. EMCEE space MILLZ.
Duality coming soon.
Yeah, Duality coming soon, man.
All right, we out.